Let's go more into the process of acting. So, has everyone here played both dramatic and comedic roles?
Yep.
Okay, and let's talk about which do you find more difficult?
Dramatic.
Dramatic, why?
Because I think this goes for a lot of us. Our personalities are more not serious. Like, I'm hardly ever serious with my friends or just around people. I'm always trying to put smiles on people's faces, and it's a lot more difficult to take on a serious role when that's not your personality. Although I find it a lot more rewarding when you pull it off.
Right. Elle?
I don't know. I kind of would have to somewhat disagree with that. I don't know. By no means am I a serious person for anybody that knows me. I like to have fun just as much as the next person. But I think being a
comic?
whatever, comedic, that's what I want. A comedic role is harder. I don't know. I feel like because of my backstory, how things that happened in my life growing up.
Yeah.
I can play dramatic characters better just because of a lot of life experiences that I've had, and more because I can become an internal basically actor,
right?
And I can just relate to experiences that a lot of dramatic characters go through, and so I find those a lot easier because I've already had to have it happen in real life, so I know what my reactions would be.
What about you, Kim?
I think with dramatic roles, they're more...
You gotta take off the Snuggie. I hardcore cannot take you seriously.
Excuse me. Sorry. Okay. I think with dramatic roles, those roles are mainly real people with real issues. And with comedic roles, it's easy to just look at the comedy and not at the person. And so for me, it's more difficult to do a comedic role because I want to get to know the character that I'm playing.
Right.
And I want to get to know them. And it's harder when you're just
trying
to deliver lines
right.
as funny as possible and not really doing much character development. And so that's why I find the comedic roles more difficult.
Does anybody else find, like Elle said, that, or both Elle and Kim said, that being a dramatic character is easier because it's easier to relate to? Just show of hands real quick.
And it also depends on what has happened in your life. Honestly, nothing really bad has happened to me.
Right.
So sometimes it's harder to...
Let's ask that real quick, just as a show of hands. How many of you would consider yourself... if you would consider yourself persecuted or, been through... I don't want to trivialize anyone's hardships and, say, oh, this person has been through more stuff than this person. But, I mean, serious stuff has happened throughout your life. How many of you would consider that a thing in your life? And how many of you guys would say that, or would you three say that it is easier to relate to dramatic characters? Or no? Or it's easier to do comedic roles? Elle already said it's easier to do drama, but what about you or Logan and Rashid?
A lot of stuff has happened to my life, and I use art to express myself. So it's harder to express seriousness or pain that I'm already storing inside, or depression that I'm already dealing with. Mm-hmm. If I'm having a comedic role because I'm making other people laugh, but I don't feel myself coming out. You know what I'm saying? So the drama role allows me to almost express what I've been keeping stored.
Right.
So I don't know, but then again, I've never
been a drama.
I've never been in a drama. I've never done a drama role before. I've always done some comedic role or something
mm-hmm.
simple. I've only done Pentalone and Doug, which is
I think that's interesting that Logan and Rashid are both, they're not typecasted, but the only roles they've been casted as are comedic roles. And it's because they're good at them.
What?
But do you think, so would you say that your backstory has helped you do comedic, has helped you get tough skin and be this funny person when stuff may not be so funny at home?
I think...
And you can answer the earlier question too, sorry.
I was just going to say about the earlier question, I think that, your experiences, for me at least, it can go either way. I can draw upon it to accomplish either role.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've had a minor, I guess, dramatic role. I was a dead son ghost person. So that was very
In
dramatic.
PSU's Dead Man Walking 2012.
Yeah.
You were an awesome ghost dead person.
I know, it was pretty great. It's pretty spooky. Anywho, what was the next question? I'm sorry.
Do you find you've played a lot of comedic roles, and you did in high school too, right?
Yeah. One of the big things that life has taught me is to not give a shit. Not give a shit what other people think. Plain and simple, fuck them. Because you go out.
This is my class. So I'm gonna ask you to repeat the
I'm not
question.
gonna edit my life.
Fair enough.
No, but
It's
seriously.
not like your teacher does.
That's true.
No, but in all
Dr.
seriousness, like
You're awesome though.
it teaches you to not care, to not feel that judgment that people try and place upon you. Because when I go out and try and do something funny, when I go out and try to make people laugh, I'm going 100% for it. I want to get that laugh. That's what I thrive on.
Do you find it that since you don't, in your words, give a shit,
I'm not afraid
that by portraying a character who does, that's some sort of outlet?
I'm not. I think it's more so that I'm not afraid to try something new, to try something that could be misinterpreted as weird or crazy or stupid. I'm just trying to have fun, and I'm just trying to bring something new.
But on a more serious note, as when doing a dramatic role, those characters are feeling something, whereas you may not give a shit. Do you find that attractive in quality for acting, or?
I do find that attractive. I do. I enjoy the challenge of trying to relate to a character. I enjoy the challenge of trying to know and just to learn more about that character, and in the highest hopes, portray them the way that you thought they should be portrayed.
Okay, that leads me to my next question, which is, do you, all of you, enjoy the process of relating to a character for your, would you rather relate to a character and delve yourself into that character's personality, or do theater for your own personal gain, for socializing and learning public speaking skills and things of that nature?
The second one.
The second one?
Yeah.
So does anybody else, who else feels that way, that they do theater mostly, or not mostly, but the main reason being because it does teach you good life skills and public speaking skills, as well as social skills?
No.
Like when I act, I'm not an internal actor at all. I wouldn't say at all.
Well, I mean,
but
not
on the whole, I'm external, but so it's not like I want wanting to become that character. But theater is acting for me sometimes is an escape. I step into that character. I'm not Micah anymore. The things I do are that character. So I don't have to worry about all of Micah's classes and all of Micah's emotional stress out or any of that. I don't have to worry about it anymore because I'm not me anymore. I'm this character.
Right.
So
acting methods aside and stuff. Where was I going with this? Acting methods aside.
Is it are you saying is it more about the process or
is it
skills I learned from it?
No, it's skills that you've learned in the process, that, versus, I guess it is, versus the escapism. Which would you prefer? What is more attractive about acting to you for that quality? Is it a thriving off of the escapism, or the escape? Am I saying this right, Rasheed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thriving off the escapism, or is it enjoying the social skills and life skills that you learn, as well as socializing?
I think the second one. I think I really enjoy knowing how much more self-aware I am, and I love theater people, so I love those are the people that I like to spend my time with.
Austin and Kim, you guys are shaking your head.
Go for it, guys.
What do you guys like?
I love getting to know everyone in a cast.
Yeah.
But
Don't
it
get
could
us
be
wrong.
a different cast every day that I'm working with. For me, it's learning about the other characters. I would love to wake up in someone else's body for a day and live their life. I think it would be so cool to be able I think it's really fun to be able to put myself in someone else's shoes.
Right.
And I feel like being able to do that and work so hard as to getting into someone else's mind, even if it's just a person on a page, helps me understand. Am I going with what you're wanting?
No, yeah.
Okay.
Not what I
sorry.
want. Just say what you're saying.
Well, I
It's
mean,
perfect.
like, as far as, like, the question or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
but,
No,
like,
it's perfect.
I think it also, like, I think that part of it helps me when I'm relating with other people in real life, because I'm able to open my perspective and see where they're coming from and be like, okay, I can put myself in your shoes. It's not just, oh, I'm learning about your life, but I can actually almost feel myself going through what they've been through, and it's very empathetic.
Do you feel the same way, Austin?
Yeah.
You enjoy getting to basically what she said?
Basically what she said.
That's what she
Would you say this is, would you say, where do you think this stems from? Like, where do you think this love of being someone else comes from, as opposed to being yourself?
Well, this kind of goes back to a previous question, but the only thing that has happened to me was I was severely bullied in junior high.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Don't lay too much heavy shit on me because I'll start crying.
But that's
So
about
you
it.
were bullied in junior high. Okay.
And that's where I try to, and like, of course, your grandma dies. That's what I try to bring to the serious role.
What's wrong with you? Not you, Austin.
And I was
Everyone.
going,
Right.
okay.
So you draw from that. Do you
Yeah.
think it's fair that to say that everyone, whether it's like a small traumatic experience or not to trivialize again, but whether it's a traumatic experience on a great scale or a small scale, that everybody has something to draw from when they do dramatic roles? Yes.
Kind of, not really. Because I have a really bad memory and I don't remember those things.
Yeah,
And I block them out. Like, I don't remember anything really traumatic happening in my life, but both my grandmas have passed away. But, like, yes, I was young, but I don't remember any of those feelings or anything. Like,
Right.
that's one of the things of me, like, delving into a character. Like, I really like to get to know their past. Like,
Where does that stem from?
Alright.
Sorry, going back to that question, where do you think that stems from? The love of being
escapism?
I think
the
I
love of being
enjoy
someone else.
knowing other people, and I enjoy being able to understand where everyone comes from
Right.
and knowing their backstory and feeling like I was a part of it, like, and knowing exactly like how they were thinking during that time and how they've developed into the person that they are today. Because I think it's really interesting how we change and grow as people, and
Yeah.
I just think that's really cool, and like everything is meshed together, kind of like. The reason that Elle is who she is because of everything that she's gone through, and I want to know that about her because I appreciate who she is today, and I want to know what made her that way.
So
And that's how I feel about the characters in a play.
would you say, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but let's be honest, is what I've been doing. Would you say that by portraying a character, obviously while doing theater, you reach a level of intimacy with a personality that you probably wouldn't likely reach with someone in reality?
Yeah.
Rashid, do you have any thoughts on that? You usually talk a lot.
I guess so. I wouldn't say a level of intimacy, but then again, I've just started acting.
Right.
So, but I do feel, I don't know. I feel like this is some level of escapism for me, which is the reason why I'm so into it. Which is why I'm so into art in general.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say I've reached some level of intimacy with the characters I've developed into, but all my characters have been relatively flat though.
Okay.
It's about learning for me. Like, when you become that character, you learn so much. Like, I know so much about so many things just because, you have to learn about those types of experiences in order to portray that character correctly on stage. And so, like, I love learning. Like, I love school, and I love, like, just learning about people and cultures and why people act the way they do and why that's how we react to things. And when you become a character, you have to know those things in order to do the performance right. And so like every time I'm a new character, it's just a new opportunity to learn a whole bunch of new stuff about people and cultures and stuff that you didn't know before.
Right.
Thank you.
I wanted to go a bit into the audience and the reactions that we get from them. And would you say, would you prefer performing in front of a small audience or a large audience? And we could
Large.
just go around, or
Large.
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 What was the question?
What size audience do you prefer?
Oh, large.
Large. Okay, so you all prefer large. Why?
There's less pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Less
less
pressure?
intimidating for some reason.
Why is that less pressure? A lot of people would say that the more
Because
people
I know
watching
fewer
you.
people in the audience.
Yeah, like you
And
don't.
I don't like performing
Well, you
for
can
people
know the
I
same.
know.
Like if
Same
4
thing, I
people are
hate
coming to your
people I
show,
There's
then
But,
let's
sorry.
say. I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't necessarily mean that you know fewer people in the audience. Like you know a lesser portion of them.
I feel like when you're performing for a larger audience, you're normally in a big auditorium, so you can't see the people. And when you perform for smaller crowds, normally it's more an intimate setting. You know, the lights might not be as bright in your face, so you can see the people like staring back at you,
Yeah.
which is weird because like you're like, don't make eye contact, but then you do, and you're like, ah, shit. And so like you're trying like I don't know, maybe it's just me, but you're trying not to do that. And then when you have a large audience, you have so much. There's more space between you and where they start at that it just. To me, it feels like they're really not even there. It's just kind of like
Yeah.
you're in your own world
I'm
because
in-
the lights are so bright on you that you just can't see out past
I'm
it.
more in my head with a smaller audience, and I'm more bound to mess up because I'm thinking about like there's someone like right there, and I shouldn't look at them when I should be thinking as my character. You know, like what's my next line, or how am I gonna react to this, or whatever. You know, like
Yeah.
I just think.
Let's hear from Natalie, just because I haven't heard you say anything.
I think
ever.
with like a bigger audience, it's kind of silly, but since there's more people, the odds are higher that at least one of them likes you. Like with the smaller audience, it's like I only have 4 people to convince to think I'm doing a good job. But with like a ton of people, it's like at least one person out there is going to appreciate what I'm doing and like understand what I'm trying to portray and stuff like that.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, well, we can go around the room again. A scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think the audience's reactions are?
Oh, definitely 10 to me.
10, Kim?
come back.
Okay, Elle?
Like a 7.
Logan?
I go with 10.
10? Okay,
I'm
Nat?
going with a 10 too. I'm gonna go with a 10.
10.
Okay, why do we think, for the most part, or Kim, do you have an answer?
Like 7 or 8.
Okay.
That's my girl.
Why do, but still, that's pretty up there. Like, 7 and up is good. Why is that so important to us? If we really love the craft of, or like a lot of us, most of us, or half of us enjoy the socializing factor and like the learning factor. But if the other half of us really enjoy delving into a character and such, why is it important
Because you like you
of
feed
our
off
spectators?
you feed off an audience's
Yeah.
energy. Like when you're on stage, like if they're laughing, it's like this like subconscious like energy boost, and you're like, all right, they understand what I'm doing. They get all the work that I put into it, and they're appreciating it. And
Yeah.
if they don't laugh, like when Logan's doing something funny on stage, like he always does, and like if a crowd just kind of like sits there and they're like confused, then Logan's like, oh crap, you know, maybe like did I do something wrong? Does that ever like go through your head? I don't know. I mean, just for me, the
Or
one
it makes
comedic
me
role
like,
I've had.
Well, damn, I gotta step it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can, I guess it can kind of be, like a good thing. It'd be like, wow, they're not really getting it. You know, what can I change up? What can I do to make this situation better?
But, like,
And like everyone said before, it's definitely like when you can hear that crowd's reaction, when you can experience and absorb that crowd's reaction, like I just get this huge feeling of accomplishment knowing that
Yeah.
they're loving what I'm loving right now.
A production is so much work, and like we put all this like work into this piece of art that we want to share with people. Like that's what I love so much about it is like you put like have so much collaboration and work on this thing, and you're like we've created this thing so that other people can come and watch it, and that takes it from being like a group of people on a stage saying lines and stuff, which is a piece of art in itself, but when it just becomes a show when you have an audience watching, and like it's like look at all of this I learned. Like I want to share everything that I've learned about this character and everything I've learned about this design process
Yeah.
with this people.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel because part of why I like theater so much is the expressive side. So I feel like if I spend so much time developing and expressing this character to no one, or to no one who appreciates it, I feel like I've wasted my time. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of time, me acting is not for it's to get something back. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be a critique, so I can figure out what I need to improve, or how can I better attach myself or reach someone who's in the audience. But I feel like the audience presence there and their reactions, they are the reason why I'm there, and they verify my presence or my I don't know, almost my existence there. You know, like
Okay. Austin, did you have something to say? I thought I saw you say something.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of when you are on stage and performing, would you say you are? If we were to do like the diagram of the message, the sender, or the receiver, and we're talking about receiving audience feedback, what do you think your role is? Are you are you the message, or are you the sender, like creating this message, or are you the receiver, you're feeding back off of the praise and the whatever you get from the energy from the audience, and that's morphing?
Well, our first role is the sender, I think.
The sender?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we're relaying the message that the author intended.
Okay.
Or at least trying to do it justice.
I actually think I'm more of the message. Well, but maybe that's a bit conceited on my end.
No, go on.
You're a poet too.
Well, because I don't know. The reason why I like acting because I like being the paintbrush. So, you know what I'm saying? So
it's like being a tool.
Yes.
I mean, like it's a paintbrush.
A good one.
So I really like what I say. I feel like I am the message because this how I say it is going to impact the audience, or how I give it is going to impact the audience. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it feels like however I manipulate my lines or whatever I'm given will impact you in different ways. You know? So I don't know. I feel like the actors are more.
You say you liken yourself to the brush, but it's actually the artist that is giving the message. Artist that is giving the message. He's putting it on the canvas with the paintbrush. He's just using it. And I completely agree with you that we are the brush when it comes to acting, but I still think we're just the senders.
Well, because I don't know how so it was I don't know. I guess the words to me are more like paint, and so the material is there, the work is there, but it depends on how we do it. Because like I guess it's irrelevant, so I bypass that. But so all of the material is there. So I guess or the ingredients are there. So if I have all these cooking ingredients, it depends on how I mesh the ingredients together. You know. So I feel like if we don't collide very well on stage, or if me and Kim were in the play, and there becomes friction or tension between us, it changes the message, or it changes how I'm going to interpret the play from now on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or whether so I feel like I don't know. It's like the arrangement of how paint comes out. I don't know. I feel like
I understand because the one act that I'm in right now could kind of change with the message, you know what I mean? Like, it could be really funny, or it could be like, hey, someone's gonna die. Yeah. And so it depends on how we portray it.
I saw that play is really serious, actually.
All cool messages, or cool metaphors aside, this is kind of random, but we're thinking about the audience. The authenticity that you get from the audience, do you think that as a performer you match that authenticity? Or... what do you think on that?
What do you mean authenticity?
Like, the audience's reactions are authentic and genuine, and you are getting a real reaction out of them. But knowing that what you have is pre-performed and everything and pre-taught, do you think that's a lack of authenticity? Or do you, and not that you're cheating the audience, but that it's an uneven relationship? Or do you think that you, by being out there, you are actually being as genuine as possible because you're bearing yourself? Like
somebody else to go that. I mean, I've done spoken word art and I've done the pieces over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's like I can understand the feeling of how I'm doing this piece over again. So it feels disingenuous to me. Like I've done a poem called Gingerbread Man over and over again. Mm-hmm. The first time I was doing it, I was like, I feel awesome. Everybody's loving it. And it's like if I do it near the same spot over and over again, mm-hmm. I just feel like I'm nothing. You know, like I feel just like my work is
because it's not new to you anymore.
Yeah.
Does anybody else like the relationship between the performer and the audience? Does anybody else feel like it's mismatched, or do you feel it's equal?
I agree with Rashid because in high school I did IDA, which is impromptu duet acting, and I feel like I'm a more genuine actor in what I'm giving the audience when it's
improv. Yeah.
But I mean,
but when you're not, like when you are portraying another person, do you still?
I try to make it as genuine as possible.
So. You think that
I think it's less genuine, but I think all the actors try to make it as genuine as possible.
Does anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I think the content can be genuine.
Well, okay.
I don't see how a performance can be genuine when it's scripted.
Yeah.
It's scripted.
I was still discovering things about my character. Like with
Yeah.
Smeraldina and the King Stag, I was still discovering stuff with her and realizing things about the character and the way that she is through the production. So it was subtle, but there were still changes that were happening, and those were authentic. There was the stuff that we'd rehearsed, and that, I mean, yes, not really authentic, but when I started a show each night, it was basically Groundhog Day. You know, like the movie Groundhog Day, but I was not the Bill Murray part. Like, you know, like I was the person that thought it was a brand new day. You know, it was Groundhog Day, and I hadn't had it the day before, but I did. You know, that's kind of how I view acting when I'm the same character each night. But I'm not really, because this time Smeraldina hasn't gone through all that yet. You know, like in my head at the beginning of the night, I'm not thinking about, oh, she just lost Truffalino and now she's mad about it. No, Smeraldina's still trying to get that king and trying to get that queendom, and I want it, you know. But you know,
I feel more genuine when I give a consistent performance, no matter what I get from the audience. Like I did a show. It was a comedy. I guess that was a couple of shows ago, called Moon Over Buffalo, and one of the things my director said to me was, she's like, you always give a consistent performance no matter what kind of audience we've been having. Because like one night it was like a Thursday night and it was like dead. Like, I mean, that's the night all the old people go, so like it was like they didn't really laugh a whole lot. And then the next night people laughed a ton. And my director was like, you gave the same performance, like your energy level was just as high Thursday as it was Friday night. So I feel like I'm giving a more genuine performance when I'm consistent no matter what the audience is. I was just like, even if you don't like laugh your head off at everything, or if you're not bawling your eyes out because it's like a really dramatic play or whatever, it's like I'm gonna give you the same performance I would give any audience, because like I want every audience, like I want to give just as much to every audience no matter what kind of reaction we get. So like I feel more genuine.
Oh, do you have anything to?
I'm able to be more consistent than when
I feel like yes, that's consistent, but as far as genuine and authentic, I don't necessarily feel like giving the same performance each night is considered genuine or authentic, personally. Because genuine and authentic is like, it's new, I don't know.
I feel like it's a bit dependent on character development. I feel like the more energy I put into like the pre-production of something, the more the longer lasting the feeling of authenticity. The longer the feeling of authenticity lasts, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so if like for example, the Gingerbread Man poem, I wrote it when I was homeless, and then like it took me like 3 days, and it was like do 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 do. So when I performed it with energy. Like I was really into it, and then, but it's like for flat characters, like for example, like some like the Pantalone character that I had, I wasn't
in the King Stag.
Yeah, and I feel like I my energy decreased as the play endured, because I felt like, I don't know, if I felt like it wasn't me, you know, like I feel like I wasn't giving a lot. And when I don't feel like I'm giving a lot, because even, I don't know, even if I do something over and over again, if I can give a lot of me while I'm doing it, then I feel like it's authentic, because it's still my energy.
Let's just real quickly, tell me your acting experience, each of you, the character you think you most gave an authentic performance with, and like a brief idea of what they are.
Like over a whole year or
over
a whole life.
Your whole life. What you think, like, wow, I was awesome at that character. You know what I mean?
Come on, narcissism.
I'm thinking exactly
He's like,
that.
I was best at all of them.
Oh, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
In just a second, too.
If I had to narrow it down, I'd have to say Cinderella's Prince and Into the Woods.
Okay. And why, or okay, I guess we know what that character is. What about you, Micah?
I think I'm going to say, when I was Betty in Betty the Eddy last year. Because you know what? Like, there was no, like, I feel like I was authentically that character because there was no Micah on stage. When I was Betty, like, I was all Betty because there's no way I could be like, oh, well, I was just being myself at that part. Because, like, I was an animal. Like, there wasn't any Micah.
Betty
in
was
there.
a Yeti, for those of you who don't know.
Betty, I was a straight up woodland creature covered in fur.
What about you, Natalie?
I would say the most authentic one I did was, I think it was my freshman year. I had to play a goth girl, and I'm pretty happy. And goth people aren't; they're angry, and I had to be serious and just mad. And the whole time, it is completely not me. It's like the farthest role for me that I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
And it
It's
was a lot of
interesting how
fun.
you both picked roles that are very far from your own personalities.
I think
That's
those are
most
easier to
authentic.
play.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Okay, what about you, Logan? So evil. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So, just a precursor, like when we're describing this authenticity, is this towards ourselves or toward the character?
Towards the character, like you portrayed the character
Okay.
to the
You
best
put
of, to the
all
best of
of
your
you
yeah, like
into
you
that.
invested yourself into this character to make it so
Okay.
3-dimensional.
Okay. Well, then I'd have to go with my Truffaldino character in the King Stag. Because like Megan, the director gave us so much freedom with that to really develop our characters that, you know, Truffaldino was a delightful mix of, you know, both Logan Qualls, 19-year-old at Pitt State, and this magical Truffaldino who's a, you know, a jester and a harlequin and, you know, just a silly dude. He's a bird catcher, for crying out loud. Who does that? For realsies. But yeah, like, that was... It was such, like, it was the ultimate balance between the character and myself.
Elle?
I'm probably gonna say I had got to play Patty Simcox from Greece when I was in high school, and I mean, to me that's probably the most like authentic to a character that I've probably ever done. And because I think I had a lot of stuff to draw from because it's such a popular show that I could watch the movie and I'd seen other like schools and I had seen like, you know, professional performances of this show, and it was really fun to like pull from all these different girls that I've seen play it, but like at the same time, like even though she's not like the lead, she's not Sandy or one of the pink ladies, like whenever like I was on stage with that character, like every little thing like counted with her, like all of her mannerisms. Like I put so much thought into how she would walk and like hold her head and hold her shoulders when she was around different people, like because how she's around the pink ladies is so different than when she's around like Danny, and like I don't know, I feel like that was the one that I put the most effort into trying to get perfect.
Kim?
Smeraldina in the King Stag.
Why?
She was the first character I ever like. I always delved into my characters, but this was the first character that it took a really long time to get to know because we had such freedom with the characters, and she was a part that no surviving copy exists, like the whole thing. So it was an adaptation or whatever. And so you don't know what the original character was. You have like the ideas of what the original character was, and so
lots of freedom to
lots of
create
freedom, but that also created pressure. So it took me up until production week, like I said, to really nail the character and really understand her.
Alright, Rashid, you've only had 2 characters, but which do you think you
typically I've
portrayed
only
better?
performed one.
That's true.
I always
You've performed the other ones in rehearsals and dress rehearsals.
Yeah, I know, but I haven't like I don't know, like actually performed the Doug character. So I don't feel too confident in the Doug character yet. And I guess I'd have to say Pantalone, which is weird because he's an old man. I guess I'm an old man. But yeah,
That old man swag.
yeah, man. So.
Right.
That's a real thing, guys.
I'm just gonna ask 2 questions left because you guys seem a little
Tired?
tired.
Whatever are you talking about?
But we've talked a lot about audience feedback, but what do you think, I mean, how can we say, have you all received praise in doing acting? None of you have been like, wow, you suck, like get off the stage.
Yeah.
I've gotten that, but yeah.
So
Yeah, me too.
Have you really?
Yeah.
what did you say? What?
He's had people telling me stop
Yeah.
saying it off stage.
Oh, really?
And so is Kim.
But the praise has overwhelmed the.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've had a lot more people who know more about the art of acting give me praise than the people who haven't.
Okay. So would you guys say?
fantastic.
Would you guys say that praise is a motivation for the
Yes.
teaching?
No.
I mean that's in everything.
No.
But if no, why not?
No.
It's
I don't. It doesn't make me want to do better. Yes, it makes me continue wanting to do it because I'm a diva and I love it. But it doesn't make me want to continue to do better and make myself better. It makes me feel like I've done a satisfactory performance. Why do I need to improve?
Right.
And so for me, actually giving me a critique and telling me what I could have done better helps me look at my performance and be level-headed about it and just be like, okay, this is what I liked, this is what I didn't like, let's change this, let's grow. Sorry.
Okay. No,
I
don't be
agree.
sorry. You agree?
Yeah, but
Why?
they're like, praise doesn't, I don't know. When I get praise, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like her, like, that's awesome. Thanks for telling me. But I'm like, I'd rather someone tell me, like, no performance is perfect. I don't care who you are. Like, no performance is perfect.
Except Meryl Streep, but go on.
Yeah, except on the street. But, like, I mean, I don't know.
Stopped out there for a really long time.
Wait, what?
That cop has been stopped out there for a really long time.
Wow.
Sorry.
It's okay.
He's just standing at the window.
For a long time. With that exact look on his
Yeah.
face.
Like, you want this stuff? No. I don't even know what the question was. What were we talking about?
I don't
I just
remember.
remember
Rashid was saying something
Praise
about
is a
praise.
motivator.
is to-
Oh, yeah. Praise is a motivation. At
Yeah.
all. Because it's not telling you that you need to do anything better. It's just like, cool. Like, I feel like it's a confidence boost more than motivation.
Confidence boost.
I don't know, because I guess I'm a little bit weird about that. Whenever I get praise, I'm always like, hey, thanks. I like getting it. Like, somewhere deep inside, I like getting it. But whenever I go back to my home, I'm always like, they really didn't like it. They really didn't like it. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this.
You're always
Yes, I really am.
rethinking
I'm
yourself?
always.
Would anybody?
Well,
I always use it like as negative.
sometimes I get in my own head and I think that the people who gave me praise were just saying that to be nice.
Right.
Although I know they're really not just trying to be nice.
Because
Because I'm kidding.
Let's
I'm really
talk
not
about that. That was
narcissistic.
the second question. I'm actually gonna add another one onto that. But anyway,
Surprise.
I know this is hard because we're in front of everyone and we're all friends and whatever. But just keep in mind we're all friends and not judge. How good?
This will be fun.
And if you don't want to answer it, that's cool. Like, I understand, just say you don't want to answer it. But, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good do you think you are at acting? And how good have others told you are? Be honest. And if you don't want to answer, that's cool, but Rashid? Yeah.
I don't think I'm very good at acting. I've not had too much experience, and I don't think I'm really good at anything, because usually I don't allow other people's opinions on what I do define my success or my excellence at something.
Yeah.
So when I do spoken word art, I don't allow other people's opinions to affect whether I think I did good or not. And typically I don't think I did good.
Right.
Because,
Did well.
oh yeah, I'm sorry, did well.
No, you're fine.
So yeah. So I mean, I don't know. That's just me. It's me specifically. But typically
But-
people will like my performance.
They
But
do.
again, it's not very hard to get people's praise for something.
Mhm.
So that's why I really don't appreciate people's praises when they give it to me, because it's not hard.
But
to
you just said
entertain
earlier
somebody.
that you said praise is a
That's
motivation.
why I keep doing it. If everybody said I suck, then I'd be like, yep, they're not even being nice about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? So it'd be one of those things where it's like I've definitely stooped past like a particular low to me. So I don't know.
I think it depends on who's giving the praise also.
Yeah, Kim, you got a
Yeah.
very good review in the Collegio for the King's Stag. So you did not read it.
I did not. I still haven't. I feel so bad.
But how good do you think you are, and how good have others? I mean, the Collegio said you were very good, and others have told you were good. But how good do you think you are?
I think I'm probably on a scale of 1 to 10, like a 5 to 6, I guess. I don't know. Other
So-
people,
Tell you you're what on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say, I don't know, like a 7. I don't know. But I don't believe it. Because it's so, like, it just depends on everyone else in the show's dynamic, how that show went that night. Like, it's not, they aren't necessarily saying, you are amazing. They're saying, it could be compared to everyone else, you were the best in the show, or hey, but at the same time, I hate like.
Do you think
when
that,
I'm in? Sorry.
Do you ever second? No, you're fine. I'm interrupting you. Do you think that sometimes the praise is misplaced instead of your talent? It's going towards the character you're portraying.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does anybody else feel that way? Real quick, that sometimes if you get good praise, that
it was just a good script. It wasn't my portrayal of that character. It was the script doing its job.
Anybody else feel that way? Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Definitely.
Sure.
Less than everyone else, but
Okay,
yeah.
we'll get to you.
But just kidding.
Oh no, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm in choir also, and whenever my mom goes to a performance, she'll be like, I heard your voice above the rest, it was beautiful. And I'm like, no, you aren't supposed to be able to hear my voice, you're supposed to blend. And so, like, that's how I feel about theater. Like, if everyone's doing a good job, like, no one's going to stand out above the rest, you know? Like, unless it's, like, that character that's supposed to be over the top, you know, kind of thing. So, I don't know.
What about you, Lillian? How good do you think you are?
I'd say I'm like a 5 or a 6, like, average to a little bit above average. I like to think that, I've got, I know somewhat what I'm doing, but obviously and always, like, there's always just room for improvement, and there's room to grow and to learn and just to experience more.
How good do people tell you are?
Like,
you also got a good review in the Collegio for Truffaldino, who you said was your most authentic character. Yeah,
and like, I'd say people would probably give me like an 8 or a 9, and that's probably because, like, more often than not, I play that character that's so easy to like, so easy, to just fall in love with, and just so easy to enjoy.
So the appraisal is misplaced again.
Yeah, it could be a little biased.
Right. Elle?
I'd probably say, like, them guys around, like, a, 6-ish on the scale. Maybe, like, a 6.2. Just a little bit. Just kidding.
6.25.
Fine. No. And, like, I don't know. I think it's changed a lot. Like, in high school, I was, like, cream of the crop. So, like, people thought I was, like, a perfect 10 in high school. And then, like, reality check, college. And so I think, like, here, I feel like people probably more view me around, like, a 7, like 6 or 7. So.
Okay.
If I gave scales to 1 to 10.
Do you want to give a scale of 1 to 10?
That wasn't the
question.
Said.
I know, man. There's like everybody already had like a set grade. I just want to.
Natalie.
I have no idea on a scale of 1 to 10. I feel like I'm decent though, but I have lots of room for improvement. Mm-hmm. But I feel like I'm continually getting better. So, like, in high school, I was like Elle, like, there wasn't a lot of kids who did
Can you stop blocking her off the camera?
I feel like I was one of the best kids. Here, obviously, I'm not.
Why do you say obviously you're not? You've been casted in both shows that you've auditioned for since being here.
Well, I mean, yeah. I'm okay.
We're no Taylor Patterson, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, come on.
If it's 5, I'm like
oh
a negative 20.
It's a personal perspective, though.
I guess so. I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I'm one of the best.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm decent. Like, I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But I'm new, and, like, I don't feel like...
But not comparing yourself to just Pitt State, like, overall.
Yeah. Just, like, in general, like...
Still decent. Okay.
I feel like for where I'm at, like, experience-wise, I'm good. Like, I'm where I should be. Like, I don't feel like I'm behind.
Okay.
But when I get more experience, I'll be a lot better than I am, I would hope.
Micah Black.
Okay.
How good are you?
Can I be that jerk that uses the cop-out that says it depends on the show?
Nope.
No.
Damn it.
Overall, like, how good are you
Overall,
adapting a character and knowing the technicalities of acting and things like that?
I would say, like, I feel like a 6. Like, I feel like I'm, like, I mean, Logan verbalized it very well when he said, like, average to, like, just above average or whatever, just because I have, like, acted quite a bit. Like, I do it all, that's what I spend all my time doing, so I'll say, like, a little bit above average. Like, there are some performances I have that I'm more proud of than others. Like, I feel like I did, like, I'm really proud of my performance in Bed the Yeti, and then I look at King Stag, and I'm like, it was a fun show, and it was a good show, but, like, I don't feel like I was, anything close to stellar. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I gave a bad performance, but like there are some performances that I look back on that I'm like, I had that character down versus other ones where I was just like, I did the best I could, but it wasn't like amazing, whatever. So, like overall, I would say like a little bit above average, but
And how good have people told you are?
I don't know. I think people like my performances. I guess you could ask them better than
She's good.
me.
I've liked all of them.
Oh, God.
Every single
So-
one of them.
Alright.
Even the ones
Awesome.
I haven't seen.
I'm gonna be that asshole.
Be that asshole.
Um,
But be the entire asshole, not just the whole. Or just the ass.
Alright.
right now, I depending on what time it is in a show, my opinion of myself changes. If it's a few days or even
But
a week,
overall, as an actor.
I know, but
in
I
this
go
trade.
from high to low.
No,
Okay.
we mean Mike.
No,
No, remember. You have
Let's
to remember.
remind. Okay, what were you about
I
4
was
hours
going
ago?
to. Well, since it's like 2 days before a show, I build myself up. I believe that I'm that 9 or 10 to make sure that I do a good job.
Right.
Because if you don't think you're good enough right before the show,
Yeah.
you're gonna do bad. Self-consciousness is the enemy of all art, and I wholeheartedly believe that. I can't think off the top of my head who said that, but I completely believe it, because if you don't have confidence in what you're putting out there,
Mm-hmm.
or what you're painting, or what you're writing as your poetry,
Mm-hmm.
how can the audience take you seriously and believe what you're putting out there?
Right.
And it also depends on if I put my whole self into a role. If I'm not putting my whole self into a role like I did with Chigalotti,
Mm-hmm.
then I don't feel like I'm at that 10.
Has
Wait,
everyone
just to clarify, you thought that you were at a 10 with Chigawati?
No.
Okay.
What I said is,
Stop it?
since I gave,
No, I didn't mean it like that. I just was confused by the way
No.
you said
We
it.
got some disagreements.
with that I didn't put my whole self into it, so I went in there with not believing I was a good actor. I'll be completely
Sorry,
honest.
I just was confused.
I know. With Chigalotti, I felt like I was the worst actor in the whole production, and it showed in in what I performed. I know that. I know I could have performed it better,
So
and
you
that's what I
think you had-
strive to do.
If you had higher confidence in yourself, then you would have performed
Yes.
better.
Confidence starts everything in you. If you're not confident with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
well, personally, I can't really do much unless I'm really confident about it,
All right.
especially my acting.
I'm gonna stop this video.